Most beginners don't fail because the workout was too hard. They fail because their reason was too soft. Let's get something straight. Nobody gets crushed by a set of push ups. Nobody gets defeated by a 20-minute run. People get defeated by the fact they walked into the fight with the mental equivalent of a plastic fork and expected to come out as a champion. Beginners fail because they treat fitness like a hobby. Hobbies get dropped the moment life gets mildly inconvenient. Identities survive hurricanes, and most people never build an identity strong enough to take a punch. Everybody wants a list. Everybody wants the 5 exercises, the optimal split, the perfect calorie target designed by some influencer with lighting better than their actual discipline. But no spreadsheet, no macro calculator, no 12-week shred ever saved anyone when their brain tried to negotiate its way out. People don't quit because the plan was bad, they quit because their why was a wet paper bag. Weak reasons dissolve in sweat, strong reasons sharpen into. Now let's tear some of this more apart. Most beginners think their biggest obstacle is lack of knowledge. It's not, it's lack of commitment. Not the kind you post on January 1st, the kind that survives the moment you wake up on a Tuesday and everything in your life starts throwing excuses at your face like drunk toddlers like with spaghetti. Knowledge is cheap. You can learn the basics of training physiology in a weekend. Hypertrophy rep ranges, progressive overload, VO2 max, zone 2, nutrition periodization, stimulus to fatigue ratio. You can memorize half of PubMed and still be soft as pudding the moment you actually have to do something uncomfortable. Because the issue is never information, it's internal leverage. Without leverage, even a brilliant plan collapses. With leverage, even a terrible plan works. That's why someone can get in shape with prison workouts, gas station protein, and a schedule built around chaos, while someone else with a perfectly color coded program can't stick to it for more than 8 days. Beginners fail because they try to build outcomes without building identity, and identity is the only real fuel that does not burn out. And the psychology behind this has been clear for decades. Humans don't act based on goals, they act based on who they believe they are. It's called the self schema therapy. Your brain maintains this internal template of who you are, and it filters behaviors based on what that aligns with that template. If you think you're a struggler, you will behave like one. If you think you're inconsistent, you'll sabotage yourself the moment you string 2 days together. If you think you're not an exercise person, you might as well bring a white flag to your first squat session. Beginners think they need motivation. What they need is a new self schema, an internal title worth defending. But most people's why is not strong enough to rewire anything. Their why is, it would be nice. I want to look good. I want to lose weight. I want to feel better. That's not a why, that's a fortune cookie wish. A real why drags you through days when you want to quit. A real why stands up to adversity like it owns you money. A real why is rooted in identity, who you refuse to be anymore and who you are determined to become. And that's developmental psychology 101. Identity precedes behavior. If behavior preceded identity, every New Year's resolution would turn people into champions, but it doesn't because the fuel is wrong. You do not rise to your goals, you fall into the strength of your why. And most people's why has the structural integrity of a graham cracker in a downpour. If your reason is aesthetic, it will not survive hunger, stress, and the gravitational pull of your couch. If your reason is, I should probably get healthier, you'll fold the moment the workout makes you taste your heartbeat. The physiology of discomfort is predictable. Lactate rises, CO2 climbs, heart rate spikes, ventilation increases, type 3 and type 4 afferent feedback starts screaming its neurological protest. Your insula fires, your prefrontal cortex tries to bargain, and your brain goes into abort mission mode. And if the only thing you have in your corner is, but I want to look good for the summer, you're done. You're cooked. The brainstem just punched your motivation straight into the trash. Beginners aren't failing because they're weak, they're failing because they prepared for war with a selfie and based battle cry. You want to know why seasoned athletes do not quit? It's not talent, it's not genetics. Hell, half of them are held together by tape and spite. They keep going because their identity is welded onto the work. Their why is not optional. Their why is survival, it's sanity, it's discipline, redemption, vengeance, closure, proof, autonomy, a refusal to go back to who they used to be, an oath they made with themselves when nobody was watching. Strong whys are internal contracts signed in suffering, and contracts forged in discomfort are bulletproof. The philosophical mistake beginners make is thinking they can borrow someone else's plan and magically absorb someone else's commitment. But discipline is not transferable. Identity is not downloadable. Nobody can hand you a backbone. People want the results of self respect without doing anything that earns self respect. They want confidence without conflict. They want resilience without resistance. They want capacity without confrontation. But physiology doesn't care about your comfort. Biology doesn't care about your excuses. Psychology doesn't care about your fragile relationship with effort. Humans adapt to what they do repeatedly, not occasionally, not when it's convenient, not when the optics are good. Adaptation is earned in the unsexy consistent of showing up when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're busy, when your mood is trash, when your sleep sucks, when you're not sure you're even making progress. Your mitochondria don't care about your feelings. Your neuromuscular system responds to load, not to your Instagram quotes. Your identity strengthens when your actions match your ambitions, not when you talk about them. Beginners fail because they misunderstand what transformation actually is. Transformation is not a highlight reel. It's a long, grinding accumulation of micro choices made under pressure. No plan saves you from that. Only your why does. And just to hit this home, we're going to break this down just even farther. Every behavior requires three things: ability, trigger, motivation. But there's a trap within that. Motivation is the most unstable variable. It's volatile, it's emotional, it's a toddler with a knife. You cannot build a life around something that unpredictable. Ability matters because you can increase it. Technique improves, conditioning builds, strength rises, ability adapts. Triggers help, but they're also just environmental nudges. They don't override your values. The only thing that makes the system stable is a why that doesn't evaporate the moment you're under stress. Behavioral change research calls this identity based motivation. Philosophy calls it telos. Psychology calls it intrinsic value. Physiology calls it consequences persistent enough to override discomfort. Whatever name you want it, it's leverage, real leverage. Without it, every workout is an argument you keep losing to yourself. With it, every workout becomes a confirmation of who you are. And here's the part nobody wants to hear because they're too busy buying the next program. If you quit easily, it's not because you're cursed. It's because quitting fits your current identity. That's a dagger. And that's the part that probably stings. Good, it should, because awareness is the ignition point. Humans don't betray themselves, they fulfill their expectations of themselves. The beginner problem isn't what program should I follow. The beginner problem is who the hell am I trying to become, and do my actions match that? Until you answer that, every plan is just a countdown to quitting. Let's talk about physiology for a moment. People think they fail workouts because they hurt. No, pain is never an enemy. Pain is just a signal that your body's doing what it's designed to do: adapt. During your discomfort, that prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles reason, starts losing its vote. The limbic system takes over and demands relief. It's predictable, it's mechanical, it's just neurons firing for homeostasis. The only thing that overrides that signal is meaning. Meaning outperforms motivation. Meaning outperforms mood. Meaning outperforms comfort. Your why is your neurological override code. Without it, the limbic system wins. With it, the limbic system becomes white noise. That's why people with deep, heavy, personal reasons can train like demons on days when most people can't even get out of bed. It's not superhuman, it's leverage. Now, this is where philosophy and physiology start to shake hands. Aristotle called it helic action driven by purpose, not impulse. Viktor Frankl called it logotherapy, survival through meaning. Modern sports psychology calls it internalized identity based motivation. I like the previous ones, they're less long with words. The labels really don't matter, it's the principle that does. Meaning gives suffering a direction. Without direction, suffering becomes your excuse. With direction, suffering then becomes a teacher. Beginners fail because they never translate their discomfort into identity. They interpret discomfort as proof they shouldn't continue because instead of proof that they are becoming reforged. So when your why is strong, discomfort changes from a threat to a signal. It becomes confirmation that you're doing the exact thing you want to become the kind of person who does. Weak whys see friction and retreat. Strong whys see friction and lean into it. So if you're a beginner or you're coaching beginners, the solution is not more information, it's not more hacks, it's not more optimal training templates, it's not biomechanic audits and perfectly timed creatine ingestion. The solution is this question: what are you willing to suffer for? Not what do you want, not what do you think looks cool, not what would be nice someday. What are you willing to suffer for? Because that is the only thing you will stick to. Everything else dies in the first wave of resistance. Your why is the part of you that survives the argument your brain throws at you when the work gets real. The part that refuses to negotiate. The part that says, this is who I am now and acts accordingly. If you build that, you can run any program, follow any plan, and make progress with tools as basic as dirt and gravity. And if you don't build that, you can have the most optimized training cycle in the world and still quit because the coffee machine at your gym was broken. Beginners do not fail because fitness is hard. Fitness is simple, hard, but simple. Beginners fail because they underestimate the cost of change and overestimate the strength of their reasons. The work is not complicated. The work is not mysterious. The work is not elite. The work is a mirror. If you walk toward the mirror with a flimsy why, it will expose you. But if you walk toward the mirror with a forged why, it will transform you. Everything else is noise. So forge the why, and the rest will follow.